I'm a fighter, I understand. You know, let's say if we give him the benefit of the doubt, he tried to make the weight. This and all this in the third, right? That's bullshit. You on the other side, that's bullshit. You didn't try to make the weight. Why you signed a contract for 135 and put your title on the line if you knew you wasn't gonna make the weight to begin with? If you knew you were struggling to make the weight to begin with? So that's what I would say in return is that it's bullshit. It's very unprofessional. You're supposed to make that weight. Period. Hands down. I don't give a damn. You supposed if he crawling on all fours to the scale, then I'm saying, damn, he tried to make the weight, but it was too much for him. But he wasn't crawling on the scales at all. At all. So, like, look, say what you want to say. I have my opinion about it. Some fighters, quote unquote, grow out of weights, and that does happen. They grow out of the weight class, absolutely, for sure. He is a big 135 pounder, and he has been at 135 his entire career. However, he's been busy. He's been busy. It's not like he's been sitting for 2 years. He's been busy. This is his third fight this year. So he's kind of ran camp into camp into camp. So he should have been able to make that weight or even come closer to that weight. 4 pounds, that's an embarrassment, man. 1 pound, I can understand. I can understand some ounces, maybe even 2 pounds. But 3-4 pounds and up, man, no, bro. That's not professional at all, bro. And it's
what up? It's your boy back again. Marlo Knows Basketball and Marlo Knows Boxing. Back at y'all with another one. I'm pretty sure everybody has heard by now the fight that I was definitely looking forward to, and a lot of boxing fans were looking forward to, Keyshawn Davis against Edwin Delo Santos, is canceled. The fight was supposed to take place tonight, but it is canceled. Will not happen due to Keyshawn Davis missing weight. And a lot of people are praising Edwin Delo Santos and condemning Keyshawn Davis for missing weight. Edwin Delo Santos and his team, in a very smart move, decided not to go forward with the fight because they felt like Keyshawn Davis would have too much of an advantage, in which I definitely agree with them canceling the fight. Don't go in there with that kind of advantage, with that kind of disadvantage, and have your fighter perform poorly because it's not a level playing field. And a lot of people are, spot on with their criticism of Keyshawn Davis and their praise for Edwin Delo Santos. However, I am finding a big double standard here. The same people that are bashing Keyshawn Davis and praising Edwin Delo Santos were the same people that were bashing Devin Haney and praising Ryan Garcia. Last year, of course, Ryan Garcia also missed weight ahead of his fight with Devin Haney. Didn't even try to make weight, and Devin Haney still went ahead on and fought him and got destroyed. And after the fight, not only did he come in overweight, but he tested positive for PEDs. And everybody bashed Devin Haney, saying he's making excuses, he's a crybaby, and all of this, that, and the third.
Devin Haney is making excuses and begging for a rematch. And look, let's break it down honestly and objectively as possible. And Devin Haney has come out on Instagram and started making excuses and begging Ryan Garcia for a rematch. But this guy is delusional and a complete and utter dumbass. And this is what I mean. Devin Haney stated, and I quote, "I would love to run it back and give the fans a fair fight with an agreed weight with Ryan Garcia." So he's saying the fight is not fair because the weight, Ryan Garcia came in over 3 pounds heavier than anticipated. But that makes no sense to me because Devin Haney, his team, his father, made a deal with Team Ryan Garcia to go forward with the fight, to pay Devin Haney $600,000 out of Ryan Garcia's purse plus 2% of whatever profit he may derive from the pay-per-view. So at the end of the day, that's when the fight became fair, when you made a second agreement by taking that money. So the fact that you're saying it's not fair, to you, it's only not fair because you got your ass whooped. Had you won the fight, you wouldn't be crying, complaining, or moaning. So at the end of the day, you agreed to the weight. You agreed to the money. Nobody forced you to do anything. Devin Haney could have walked away from the fight, but he chose not to. He wanted to.
That's bullcrap, because the same people that bashed Devin Haney for making those excuses, or saying he's making excuses for Ryan Garcia coming in overweight and the PEDs. If Devin Haney would have canceled the fight after Ryan came in overweight, just like Edwin Delo Santos did, y'all would have been bashing him. These channels like Punch Drunk Boxing and these biased channels that swear that they're unbiased and objective, no, you're not. No, you're not. If you're sitting there praising Edwin De Los Santos for calling off the fight because he didn't want to fight with a disadvantage, as you should. But if Devin Haney would have did the same thing, y'all would have been bashing him and calling him a coward. And you know you would have. Ryan Garcia didn't even try to make the weight. He was worse than Keyshawn Davis. He came and stepped on the scale drinking a beer, showing everybody that he didn't care. He didn't care. He came in overweight on purpose so he could have an advantage. That's not cheating. That's not cheating, but you call Keyshawn Davis unprofessional and say that he tried to pull a cheating move by having an advantage. Y'all not keeping it consistent. But I do want to send a shout out to Timothy Bradley. I know Timothy Bradley gets a lot of hate from both sides of the boxing community, but Timothy Bradley is very consistent. Timothy Bradley is truly unbiased. And I do want to definitely give him his props, because just like he bashed Keyshawn Davis for coming in overweight on purpose, he did the same thing to Ryan Garcia. Unlike a lot of these people that claim to be unbiased and objective.
Those last 3 pounds is like, it takes your soul. It drains you. Ryan himself said, why would I even try to make 140? Why? Because I would just kill myself to make it. Absolutely. You signed a contract to fight at 140. You knew all along you weren't going to make the weight. So then you step into the ring. You have an advantage over somebody that actually made the weight. And it was a tough weigh in for Devin Haney. That came back and bit him in the behind. But however, this victory right here, I'll give you credit for it, but with an asterisk next to it. Because I'm telling you right now, Ryan went in the ring with an advantage, people. It's all about this. If you didn't want to make that weight, the reason why you didn't is because you didn't want to weaken your resolve, Ryan. You know that. Those last 3 pounds is like, it takes your soul. It drains you. Ryan himself said, why would I even try to make 140? Why? Because I would just kill myself to make it. Absolutely. You signed a contract to fight at 140. You knew all along you weren't going to make the weight. So then you step into the ring. You have an advantage over somebody that actually made the weight. And it was a tough weigh in for Devin Haney. That came back and bit him in the behind. But however, this victory right here, I'll give you credit for it, but with an asterisk next to it. Because I'm telling you right now, Ryan went in the ring with an advantage, people. It's all about this. If you didn't want to make that weight, the reason why you didn't is because you didn't want to weaken your resolve, Ryan. You know that.